Hello everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4. We are in it's an older mod. It was in HOI2, which the title obviously suggests. It's the Armageddon mod, so we have a lot of large nations here battling it out for Battle Royale, so this could go in many different directions. North America can go in 3. But yeah, there are many different directions that this could go, and I just kind of wanted to see how a bunch of big nations fighting it out would do. I'm kind of curious to see who's going to come out on top, if we're going to see some old blood or some new blood be spilt here today. So I just want to give it a try and see how it goes. So let's get this party started, shall we? Yeah, so we've got Bourbon, France. You've got the European Soviets, which control pretty much that area here. You've got Prussia, who immediately is going to war with the European Soviets. I don't think the European Soviets have much of a defense to muster, which might be bad against the Prussians, though the Prussians are also at war with the Swedes. So we've got Prussia, Bourbon, France, European Soviets, which is mostly Britain, Sweden, which controls all of Scandinavia. We have Russia, the Cossacks region, Roma, the Ottomans, African People's Republic, Persia, India, China, Indochina, and the PRRS as the main ones. There's also Australasia there. In North America, we have the United States of North America, we have the Confederates, and we have the Liberators. So, yeah, going to be interesting to see how... Oh, Tanatuva just got annexed. So Tanatuva existed very briefly. They didn't get... yeah. So yeah, we've got the Liberators. They're not at war with anybody at the moment. They're kind of just holding back. We've got the Confederates on the United States of North America. I'm not sure who's going to win that one. They're pretty evenly stretched out. I think it really depends on this whole surrounding thing they've got going on. So some units are getting surrounded, some are not. It all depends on how each of them can hold that up and kill as many units off as possible before getting killed themselves. The Confederates are based in Mexico City, too, which I find funny. I thought they would be more based in, like, New Orleans, possibly Miami, even LA or San Diego. Mexico City is an interesting choice. But yeah, so we have Prussia here. They're doing okay. Their capital's now in the Rhineland. I think their capital was Berlin, and it was just taken by the European Soviets. So it's interesting that we have them. Hello, how are you, sir? They have the British Soviet flag as well, which is very interesting. Yeah, and we have Bourbon, France, which is a democratic nation. They are at war with the African People's Republic. I don't think they're doing all that well against the African People's Republic. They have no units in Northern Africa, and I don't think they're looking at doing anything. The African People's Republic have a good amount of units. They're actually probably going to do quite well overall. The Ottomans are with the Cossacks. I feel bad for the Cossacks. They really didn't have a chance in the first place against all of these enemies. So Roma is attacking them. Looks like the Russians might even be attacking them now. Yeah, the Russian Empire took 9 states. Ooh, that's gross. That's some nasty borders going on there. Who are the Romans going to go after now? Oh, they're after the French. Oh, France. You poor son of a bitch. Bourbon, France is not going to last for too long. The Prussians retook Berlin. The Swedes, though, are making some pretty decent pushes. The Prussians kind of got screwed on 2 fronts right off the hop, so I feel bad for them. Same with the Persians. The Persians are at war with the Ottomans as well as India. The Chinese are at war with the PRRS and doing quite a decent job at cleaning them up, although the PRRS is showing their naval invasion prowess here by invading them on some of the coast here. Indochina, I don't think is at war with anybody. No, they are. They're at war with Australasia, and they've navally invaded a few times. Australasia seems to be doing okay on holding them off. We'll see how well they continue to do. Looks like they're trying to invade in Burma here. Take that. So they have a supply nest, because they're not landing somewhere with a proper port, so that's going to really hurt them if they can't take that town fast. Yeah, the PRRS is just not looking very healthy, pardon me. The Russians are going to be kind of a menace, I think, this time around. They're pretty powerful, even still. I'm curious to see how they kind of you know, outdo it. Oh, they're at war with the PRS now as well, so that's not good for the Japanese here. Who is leading you? Oh, okay. Oh my, there's a whole story. Interesting. Very interesting. Also, just so y'all know too, I'll put a link in the description. I have a Twitter if you want to follow me on Twitter. I'll put a link in the description there. I don't post too often, but might get more active on it. We'll see what happens. See, I don't know. You never know. But yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, totally can do that. I'll leave that link for you. So Roma looks like they're eating France alive. Poor Bourbon France. The African People's Republic, they're just kind of biding their time here. They'll definitely be able to take this northern part. Oh, the Persians just got annexed by the Indians. Now the Indians are at war with the Ottomans. Interesting. The Ottomans are actually quite strong. So are the Indians, though, to be fair. That could be a longer war, depending on what happens in Africa. Because the African People's Republic, yeah, they're looking at naval invading Rome. They're at war with Roma, which is interesting. I don't know how well that's going to really work out for them. I'm not sure who declared that war either. But Rome is definitely eating poor France pretty much alive. France still owns Paris, thankfully. That's not their capital, though. Madrid is their capital. So I guess they're more Spanish than French, although Bourbon is the French one. But oh well. Prussia, I feel so bad for you. You started off with just everything. You just lost Berlin again. You're just not doing all that great, buddy. I feel really bad. They're kind of close to capitulating. They are at war with nations that have less troops than them individually, but combined, they're definitely pretty screwed. The Russians are actually at war. Who are the Russians at war with now? Oh, they're at war with the Swedes. That'll be interesting, because if the Swedes get taken out by the Russians, then the Prussians could reevaluate on the European Soviets here before they get completely wiped out. This is a very confusing war. Very confusing war. Looks like the Ottomans are getting the upper hand on the Indians, at least initially. The Chinese, they don't look like they're attempting a naval invasion. The Japanese continually attempt to navally invade. But it doesn't look like they themselves are looking at doing a naval invasion. They easily could. There's really nothing here. They very much could invade. But we'll see what happens. Looks like the Australians have started to invade the Indonesian islands, which is interesting. Oh, Indochina just landed in Australia there. That's not good. If they can keep a hold of that, that could be the end of Australia, but I don't think they can. They landed one unit. They really need to land more than one. You know, they have a good amount of units they could send in, but apparently they're just not interested in sending them in. Makes no sense to me. Oh, and the Chinese just declared war on Indochina as well. That's not good. That's not good at all. I think the Chinese will be able to take them out. I don't think they have the troops to hold up against the Chinese. We'll see, though. Weirder things have happened. That's for sure. Wait, who the fuck? Why? What? The African People's Republic just navally invaded Rome. What? Oh my god. Can they take out Roma before Roma takes out Bourbon? Maybe. It's possible. They're moving pretty swiftly up here. They've got a bunch of Rome troops surrounded here, just outside of Rome. Oh my god. Wow, this is actually quite impressive. Very impressive landings here. And there's going out here. It looks like Bourbon, though, is pretty much finished. A lot of the troops are surrounded here in Paris area. They don't really have much defending down here. They've got these two guys, but, I mean, one of these guys could walk into Madrid and basically capitulate them now. Whether they will or not, it's another question entirely. Looks like Roma has sent, some divisions up to try and retake this area here, but they're really not doing too great of a job. They just got one of their trucks surrounded, which is one of their newer units, I think, as well. I think they just got that tech and just formed those units, so that's really bad. The Prussians have managed to reconsolidate with the Russians invading Sweden. They managed to actually push the European Soviets back now. It's because that's their only front. So they're actually pushing them back into Denmark, which is great. I love how Greater London area is their capital. Not just London, but the entire area. It's so pointless. I just can't believe the African People's Republic managed to do that. That's amazing. And the Ottomans doing very well in India as well. This is kind of stalemated now, but the Ottomans have the upper hand for the time being. We'll see if they keep that or not. Indochina, that's also fairly static. There's certain areas where Indochina is actually pushing. It looks like on the north they're fighting along this river, which is probably giving Indochina a bit of an edge. Same with here, a lot of mountains and rivers and stuff. That's probably giving Indochina the edge. That's probably why that line hasn't moved. If the Chinese can break it, that'll be it, but we'll see whether they can break it or not. Oh, did the Australians just take that port? Oh, God. Come on, Indochina, you fools. Absolute fools. If they successfully take out Australasia, I'll be quite surprised. I'll be very surprised. I'm also quite surprised at this whole African Republic thing. Rome is, like, trying to retake all this land, but they keep on getting, like, surrounded. They're not doing a great job. Bourbon here is just not looking great either. Murcia now is their capital. If that falls, they're really screwed. Looks like they've got some more units, though. They've kind of, like, pulled the line back to try and defend, which is a smart move. Sweden was annexed. Prussia just took a bunch of states, and Prussia has officially expelled the European Soviets for the time being. Who are they at war with now? Who did they go to war with? Or are they just still at war with the European Soviets? Oh, they're at war with the African Republic as well. The African People's Republic is just not making friends, and Roma is now under attack by the Russians. So now Rome is really screwed. Oh, they actually landed there in Murcia. Now they got Aragon. I think that'll be it for them if Aragon falls. I think that'll be it. I don't think they've got much fight left. Oh, maybe not. Oh, they took back Madrid. That's why. I was like, what happened there? They still have Aragon. And they took back Madrid. Looks like Roma is starting to kind of collapse a little bit. Oh, Prussia's pushing into the African People's Republic. Ooh, that's not good. Come on, African People's Republic. Oh, that's all Bourbon France. I don't want Bourbon France. Give me the African. They have a cool freaking flag. Dude, that's a sweet-ass flag. I like that flag. Good job on designing your flag. I like it. So yeah, the Prussians are pushing into the African Republic fairly easily. I mean, they have a lot more juice now that they've expelled the Swedes and that. They can actually build up their army now. So they've got a chance. The Russians, how many troops do they even have? Holy smokes, 200 units. I'm curious to the Ottomans, too. 62. And the Chinese, 49. So the Russians definitely seem to have the main upper hand here, which is not great. 63 for the Prussians. They've been in such a long war, though. It's kind of difficult for them. Oh, not Bourbon. What do the Africans have? 43. So respectable divisions across the board, with the exception of the Russians, which are just way out of left field. How's North? Oh, Jesus Christ. So the Libertadores have invaded the Confederate States and are moving south. The Confederate States are literally just fighting north to get more land so they don't capitulate, like, immediately. Where's the capital for these guys now? Or is it just no longer exist? Do they just not have one? Are they that close to dying? Oh my god. Hello, Libertadores. Oh, they are that close to dying. Oh dear. The U.S. is not doing good either. We actually might see a South American victory go on. That's totally possible. We could see a South American victory for once, which is amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. Wow, that's insane. The Indochina line has moved. The Chinese have broken here and broken here near Hanoi, which is not good for the Indochina. They've been doing really well. Yeah, there goes the Confederates. How much did the Libertadores take? A good amount, and now they're over at the North America. So this is the fight for North America, Libertadores or the U.S. The USNA. And Prussia is fighting. Looks like they're still fighting just the Africans. So they haven't gone to war with Roma or anything yet. Roma has taken Rome, and it looks like the Africans are re-invading Sicily to try and take out Roma. The Bourbons have fought back, so they're retaking a lot of that land. They're going to lose that, though, to probably Prussia. Could be the Russians, but most likely Prussia. That's what I see. Prussia declaring war on them right away. Oh, and Roma was just annexed. Yep, and now the Prussians are at war with Bourbon. I think the Prussians will probably win that war. I don't think the Bourbon has... They only have 27 units, so that's a lot less than the Prussians. So the Prussians should be able to crush them, but we'll see what happens. The Prussians really need to link up this land here. So if they can manage to do that, then they're good. But we'll see whether they can actually pull that off or not. Oh, the Russians declared war on the Indians. That's great for the Ottomans, terrible for the Indians. That's going to be a really bloody conflict. The Indo-Chinese have pushed back again, so it's pretty even between these two. So the Indo-Chinese have 55 divisions, Chinese have 65. So yeah, it's fairly even. Fairly even. And the Indo-Chinese are still attempting to invade Australia. They haven't lost this sector of land yet, but I'm surprised they haven't. The Australians are winning on a couple of battles here. I don't know. I just don't know. It's interesting to see this happen. You know what I mean? I think if the Australians invaded like Java and Sumatra up here, they would probably be okay. Like the Australians would be fine, and they'd probably collapse the Indo-Chinese if they did that. But I don't know. It's hard to say. The Indians are starting to fall back though too. They had held that line. They were trying to hold it, but it looks like they're now getting beaten back. So I kind of expected it, to be fair, but we'll see what happens in the end. So the Ottomans at war with the Russians now too? No, just the Indians. Oh, hello, Russia and Libya. What the frig are you doing there? Is that Roma lands that you took? Okay. The Prussians are crushing Bourbon. Absolutely crushing them. I don't know who they're going to go to war with next. Yeah, they just crushed the Bourbon France. Who are they going to go to war with next? So they're at war with Africa and the European Soviets. They'll probably just stay on that warpath for now. It's going to be difficult to invade the Soviets. The Africans, though, would be more easy. There's a lot of areas they could invade from. There's not a whole lot of ports on the African continent, but there's a lot of areas they could attack from. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to actually do that and consolidate gains. But it's hard to say whether they'll try to invade anything or whether they'll build up their arsenal. So if they wait and build up their arsenal and defend themselves, they'll actually have a pretty decent chance against the Russian Empire later on. But, yeah, we'll see. Indochina's starting to break. They broke another line here, headed into Tibet. This line's still fairly stable. But the PRRS is just naval invaded Korea. They're also naval invading parts of Russia, which is interesting. And the Chinese are now at war with the Russians, which is not good. That's really not good. The Chinese now are probably just going to fold. There's no way they can hold that. Also, the Russian front line is now cut off, and it's just the Ottomans. If the Chinese fall, though, we'll see probably Indochina jump into the Indian War and take them out. The Ottomans have lasted quite a long time. This is the longest that the Ottomans have actually lasted. They're in the finals. I know that it was only like 10 big nations to start with, but they're actually in the final bit, so that's really good. Also, I tried Battle Royale with NSIG as well as Darkest Hour, and neither of them worked. Black Ice is still crashing. I tried it just to see, but it's still crashing. So we'll still have to wait for them to update. Fatherland 1964, I need to try. It's out of date, so it's a good chance that it won't work, but I'll try it. If there's any other mods that you know that are up to date or at least 1.5, not necessarily 1.5.1, but 1.5, let me know. for sure, and I can take a look at it. It's just there's a lot of mods that are just old and they don't care, so they're not going to bother to update, so they're not going to work with Battle Royale. I'm hoping Black Ice is one of the big ones, so hopefully they will eventually update. And I'm hoping that the Battle Royale dev will update it so it will work with NSEG, because I'd love to do NSEG, because NSEG has like the Great War all the way up to 1945, so it has multiple different scenarios that we could try, and none of them work with Battle Royale. So I'm hoping that it's something the Battle Royale dev could fix so it'll work. You know who you are, man. Can you make it work? But yeah, that'd be really great if that could actually happen, because NSEG would be great. It'd be fantastic. The Chinese are starting to fold. Ooh. The Indians are really folded, but the Chinese are starting to really collapse under the pressure. So the PRRS has fully taken Korea back. They've also taken Qingdong area here in Shandong region. They've landed in Shanghai, taken Shanghai fairly easily. Ooh, this is really not good. Just outside of Fujian, they've taken. The Indo-Chinese have pushed all the way up through Hong Kong, through Fujian. Wait, is there 2 Fujians? Oh, there is 2. That's weird. And have taken pretty much all of southern China at this point. They've just absolutely murdered them. The Australians have pushed them out, which is nice. It's good for them. The United States of North America is actually... They're okay. They're defending, but they're not doing a really bang-up job either. Do they even have a capital right now? I don't see one. Yeah, I don't see one. Oh, there it is. It's on Cuba. It's Havana. Okay. But yeah, they're defending kind of, but they're definitely losing. I think the Libertors here are going to be the winners for sure in North America. So good job. South America finally gets a win in North America. It's always been the US. There was one time it was Canada, and one time it was Mexico, but it was never been a South American nation. So the fact that South America has managed to pull it a win, good job. Clap, clap. Very proud of you. Very proud of you indeed. I'm interested to see the African People's Republic go to war with like the Ottomans or the Russians in the near future, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. The Ottomans have to collapse at some point. I imagine once Asia's fully cleared up, we'll see a Russia on Ottoman, because the Ottomans are actually pretty strong. We've got 111 divisions, nowhere near Russia's, what, like 2-something? 366. Holy shit. Russia. Oh my good God. That's insane. That is absolutely bonkers. It's insane. They've split China in half, so China now is fighting for Manchuria North and parts of northern Russia area, so Vladivostok region, and now they're fighting along a front, looks like just south of Beijing area. Trying to find where the fuck I even am. But they're starting to be, completely sandwiched, so we've got the PRRS now moving pretty easily in. So they've capitaled in Shanghai, the Chinese, which is probably a bad choice for capital considering the PRRS has it surrounded at this point and has navally invaded it 3 or 4 times at this point. They've just surrounded that division, so he's probably going to start taking some attrition. Oh no, he's in a city, so probably not. Yeah. It's interesting. Interesting to see the Chinese collapse after so hard. So they're fighting... Oh, they just lost Shanghai. And now they're back in Hebei. And this will probably be the last capital. I think that once that falls, they're going to completely capitulate. They might even do it before, because they've only got... Yeah, there they go. Wow. So China was just seized. Indochina took a humongous chunk. Wow, Indochina just took, like, everything. The Russians are going to clean up the PRRS mess. I wonder if they'll navally invade the home islands. The Russians could do it. I'm curious to whether they will. The Ottomans have just about finished off India. There's not much left there for the Indians to really try and fight for. I feel bad, but they're getting just annihilated. Still a fair amount of divisions left, to their credit, but it's just not going to work out. The Russians keep increasing their units, and it's nuts. I cannot get over that. What is Prussia at now? No, Prussia, not these idiots. What are you idiots at anyway? 47 divisions. What are the Prussians sitting at right now? 309. So they'd actually put up a little bit of a fight to the Russians. And I think that's what we're going to actually see is a showdown between Prussia and Russia. I think I'm not really sure who the Russians are going to go after once they're finish off the PRRS here. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out for them or not. I'm surprised the Indo-Chinese haven't declared war on the Indians, though. I figured they'd want to get into that and try to get some land out of it. But apparently not. There's a lot of Russian units trapped inside of Indochina right now. Oh, that's not good. That's crappy. Sucks for you, Russia. Gonna lose about, I don't know, 10 divisions. Not that much, I guess, comparatively to what they have. It's really not a lot. Really not a lot. But I'm curious to see this war. The Prussians are quite ready for it. I don't know if the Russians even are. They don't seem to have a big presence in the east. Like, not a huge one. It'd be interesting to see how that works out. Do the Prussians have any units in here? They have a few. Not enough to defend it, though. They'll lose that quick enough. Really just waiting for the Ottomans to clean up India, and after that we'll have a new string of wars. Most likely. Because I think they're only at war with them, aren't they? Yeah, just India. And they're almost dead. It's been a long and bloody war, though. What are we looking at casualty-wise? 1.27 mil, 1.1, 153k in the Russian side. Yeah, it's been a bloody conflict. Very, very bloody conflict. What if the Ottomans will go against the Africans next? I'm curious to see that. Or will the Africans, or will they go after Indochina? So they could. They have more units than the Indochinese, I think, for now. Well, the Indochinese are starting to bulk up. They're a little bit late because the Russians outdo them, but they're starting to bulk. The Russians have 298. Only 191, really. 86 military, 134 military. I guess it really depends on what they're producing. Only 99 factories for the Indo-Chinese. I'm surprised. I thought they would have more. Like, I thought they'd be at least like 150. And there goes India. Now, who are they now at war with? Indochina. Alright. I was wondering if they were going to go that direction. And they decided to go that direction. So the Indo-Chinese against the Ottomans. The Russians are still only against the PRRS. So they might try naval invasions on the main island. I mean, they could. There's not a lot defending the main island. So it's a possibility. It's something they should really look at doing. Same with the Prussians. They should really look at invasions of the Soviets here. They probably could pull it off. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they don't have the Navy to do it. I don't know. I really don't know. Well, they're doing that stupid thing where they're like navally invading from... Oh, no, they're not. They're actually like planning smart ones. Okay, never mind. I was like, maybe they're just being dumb. But no, they're not. They're actually planning smart invasions. So that's always good. So the Ottomans are making... Nah, I wouldn't say quick work of the Indo-Chinese, but they're definitely giving them a good smack in the face. That's for sure. I figure after this, they're either going to go to war with the Russians, or the Russians will go to war with the Ottomans, or we'll see the Ottomans go on the African People's Republic. That's probably who they'll go against next, because the Ottomans have like 180 divisions, the Africans have 180. Really? 180? Versus how many in the Ottomans right now? 212? So yeah, I mean, they have more units, so they could go after them. They really don't have much choice otherwise, unless they want to go after the PRS or Australasia, honestly. Also, Liberators fully took North America and South America. They are the winners of the Americas. Good job. First time a South American country has actually done it, so that's pretty good. Can't complain there. But we're getting down to the last big ones. They're really quite beefy. They're going to take some long time for the wars, so I'm going to pause it, and we'll come back if anything interesting happens, or we come down to the last few. Just a quick update. Indochina has been dissolved by the Russians and the Ottomans. The Russians joined in the war, and quickly they got overrun. The PRRS has navally invaded in Korea, both north and south, and near Vladivostok. They have a port here at Vladivostok that they're trying to push. However, they have help. The Prussians are now on a full-scale war with the Russian Empire. We've seen some minor gains in Scandinavia for the Prussians at first. They've had some minor gains here as well. They've retaken Riga, for example, in this region, and they've pushed a little bit south on that line, but I really don't know whether they're going to be able to consolidate those gains now, because the Russians now are not at war with Indochina, and it probably won't take them very much to crush the PRRS. So whether Prussia can actually push and take the Russians, or the Russians will push back and take Prussia, it's going to be a long, bloody conflict, and this is going to be a stalemate line, I think, for quite some time. But it'll be interesting to see who can kill whom. And the Ottomans are attacking the African People's Republic and doing quite bad at it. But a lot of the troops are still on the way. So we'll see what happens there, see if the African People's Republic can take out the Ottomans, or will the Ottomans be able to reinforce their line and take out the African People's Republic with just the minor setbacks right now. We will see in a few. Alright, we are back for the last time. It keeps crashing on the 8th of October, so I'm just reloading it. The Prussians were defeated by the Russians, and now it's the Ottomans versus the Russians. It's a very slow war. It's been going on for quite some time, but the Russians are now really getting the upper hand. They've surrounded a lot of divisions in here, a lot of divisions there, and they're starting to push through Greece, which is going to kill off a lot of Ottoman divisions there. They're getting very close to Istanbul as well, so the Ottomans are about to lose their first capital. They've also split the Ottomans in two, so the Ottomans owned most of Persia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and they're pushing the Ottomans now. They've cut them off, and they're pushing them into India, northern Tibet, and starting to get into Indochina. So eventually that line is going to completely collapse. So yeah, the Ottomans are pretty much toast. There's no real way for them to come back. So the Russians are declared the victor. Congratulations, Russia. You now have, I do believe it's 4, so you're 1 behind Germany. So we'll see what happens next time, and maybe the Russians can finally catch up with the Germans. But thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace.